If you have young children watching right now, you may want to have them step out for this next segment because of its graphic nature. The Rose M. Singer Center at Rikers Island is the city's main jail for female detainees and convicts. Known colloquially as Rosie's, the facility has recently been at the center of disturbing accusations of sexual assault on the part of both inmates and staff. A recent Department of Justice study found that about 50 of the 800 women housed at Rosie's were being sexually victimized by staff members, making the facility one of the worst jails in the country. Rape at Rosie's, a story in the latest issue of New York Magazine, lays out a harrowing picture of pervasive assault and abuse with minimal accountability. The piece follows former Rikers inmate Darcel Marshall, who last year won a $1.2 million lawsuit against the city. The complaint alleged, among other things, that Marshall and another inmate were repeatedly raped by a guard and accused the city of giving correction officers a, quote, perceived free hand to retaliate against women who reported them. Joining me now is John Tucker, the criminal justice reporter who wrote the piece for the New York Magazine. John, welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. First question for you is this. What was it that brought you to this story?
Sure. I was looking at the Me Too movement, and I saw this reckoning hit places like Hollywood and Capitol Hill and the media industry. But I was also thinking about other spaces that we hadn't really explored in terms of how this was affecting them, one being houses of detention, where arguably the disequilibrium of power between those who have it and those who don't is greater than those other arenas that we discussed. So that to me was kind of the starting point. And I saw a news clip from last year seeing the settlement. It seemed to be a major case. I know that it was, the lawsuit was launched as a class action lawsuit. It was launched by two anonymous Jane Doe ones. So I wasn't sure if now that it was settled, one of those Jane Does might want to take this time and kind of the history of women's empowerment to tell their story, have their voice be heard. And that's how I got connected to Darcel Marshall.
I want to get into her story in a moment, but through the course of your research and your writing, did you find that we have any real concrete idea of how pervasive these sexual assaults are within the women's facilities?
No, it's really literally under lock and key. We have a little bit of data that unfortunately doesn't track every single year. The most recent federal data we have comes from a 2013 DOJ study that incidentally, that was the year that Marshall was housed there. We have inmates who are very, very terrified to talk about it, even amongst themselves. So I did speak to female inmates. They talked about it a little bit. And then you have lawyers who are knee-deep entrenched in these types of cases, and those lawyers say that it's systemic. And the data don't always exist because the women are fearful of reporting it, and some people, they just think it's normal. It's standard practice. It's part of being imprisoned.
Let me talk a little bit about Darcel Marshall, who is the centerpiece of the story here. And she has lived I think it's fair to characterize, a difficult life. She was engaged in the sex industry, had some convictions before she found herself in Rosie's, as it's described. And she talks, and very candidly to you in your article, about how she got involved initially with a consensual sexual relationship with a jail guard. It was sort of the currency, if you would, transactional in the facility. She got money, or she got things that she could use there. As a consequence. And then it got to the point, as she alleges, where it became much more forcible on the jail's part, and indeed actual rape, according to her.
Yeah.
How did you find her? And was she originally amenable to the notion of telling her story?
She was. I kind of looked around and, asked people who know people, and she was living in North Carolina at the time. I was expecting to kind of speak with a very broken, very traumatized person who might be very difficult to interview. It's for something like this, for all sources, reporters want to generate some sense of trust before they move forward with a story like this, but especially when you're talking about this type of subject matter, there's a lot of shame involved, a lot of vulnerability. So I was prepared for some grueling conversations. when I went to visit her in North Carolina, the trauma was there, and she opened up. It took a little bit of time, several conversations for her to open up. But even though the trauma was there, I found a very brave, very stoic, very intelligent, very clear, lucid person who just had a compelling, affecting story to tell, just as a story. But she presented it in such um, a clear and compelling way. You couldn't help but be drawn to her story. And just in terms of what she talks about from her own previous life, she is from the streets, basically. She was a former sex worker. And, she talked in sometimes graphic detail what that means, the reality of it. She, more than anything, really keeps it real. She tells the straight truth, and you can like it or not, but it's not sanitized in any way. So, in talking about some of her stories from her previous sex work life, where she had been pimped out by a succession of bad men, drugged, raped, thrown out of movie cars, that is just kind of the natural thread leading to her position in Rosie's, where it's kind of not that dissimilar to what life is on the street is like in terms of men in positions of power who can kind of leverage that power in a way to get what they want. And you make the point that this was a consensual relationship to begin with the guard whose name is Benny Santiago, but under the statute.
Right, and this is important to mention, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, there is no such thing as consent in jails and prisons in New York. So statutorily, these women are unable to consent. Thus, any kind of quote unquote, air quote, consent is really statutory rape.
Last question for you, and I want to preface it by noting that the Department of Corrections, in response to our request to them about a comment based upon the story, has said essentially they are hopefully going to do better. I think that's a fair characterization of protecting inmates here. Based upon, again, your research and your writing here, are you at all optimistic that we will see some positive changes take place?
I hope. I'm a strange bird because I'm a journalist who tries to look at the glass half full. I'm an optimist. They've said these things before over the last 3 years, and nothing has happened. I mean, if you look at, I shouldn't say nothing has happened. They have hired more investigators, so that's one substantive thing that they have done. But you really have to follow through on investigations. The fact that 85% of investigations of the last 300 and change on record are still pending when they're supposed to be cleared and closed in 90 days, that's something's wrong. And if you ask them that, they have to acknowledge that that is not the way of business. So I hope it changes. I hope people read this article, and I hope that they can, it's rape in prison and jail is something we talk about all the time, but we don't really think about what it really means in terms of who it's affecting. And Darcel Marshall, she was the wrong person to be victimized. She's come a long way, and since she's been released, she has been on the Women's Empowerment Circle. She's trying to start a nonprofit. She's written a book about her experience.
Yeah, certainly moved forward with her life as a consequence of this. John, it's a revealing, a very powerful and compelling article. I want to thank you for spending some time with us and talking about it. You be well.
Thanks so much for having me.